As the sun sets, the curtains open up at Stewart Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University, the annual site of the Nassau County Boys Lacrosse Championships. Tonight, Verizon Fios One Sports brings you the Nassau Class B Final. It's a pair of very old rivals. The two-time defending champion Garden City Trojans, they're the 2 seed. They take on their longest time rivals, the number 1 seed Manhasset Indians. Let's show you the Class B bracket and how the 2 teams got here. Both had to earn it. Manhasset able to get past Hewlett in a low-scoring affair, while Garden City needed overtime to get past Southside 3-2. And with that, we welcome you here to the field at Hofstra, alongside former Deer Park coach Gary Gluck. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk. Usually, you don't have to say a lot when it's Garden City versus Manhasset in boys lacrosse. They play in the annual Woodstick rivalry going back to the 1930s. But they meet for the second time once again, Gary, in the county final. In the regular season meeting, it was Manhasset that won, but we've seen this script before. Manhasset winning in the regular season and Garden City breaking their hearts in the championship game like it's happened the last couple of years. So they meet again, and we will see if there's a different result.
Well, Ralph, I firmly believe defense wins championships, and that's what we have tonight. We have 2 teams that are defensive-minded teams, and Garden City is the #1 defensive team in Nassau County. They are very tough to score against. The question is, will Manhasset be able to solve the mystique of that defense? They did it earlier. They won 7-4, but it was a 5-4 game going into the last minute or two when they scored 2 empty netters, so they ended up winning 7-4. But clearly, this is going to be a defensive fight.
And we will highlight a pair of defenders I think it's apropos, including a junior that's headed to Brown. Colin Hart, ever since he stepped on the field, has been one of Long Island's best for the Trojans.
He's a 3-year starter since the 9th grade. He is an all-county defenseman coming back to Garden City. He last year defended Kevin Mack, the All-American at Manhasset, and held him very well last year in this very same game in the county finals. He is the glue that holds this defense together and stands in front of a very good goalie in Teddy Dolan.
And Manhasset's answer to him is their own junior all-county player that will play also in the Ivy League in Ed Arnold.
Ed Arnold, an all-county player, another 3-year varsity starter for Manhasset. He does the job. He is tough. He's got a great takeaway check. He is going to be key. He is also the glue. He is the anchor of the defense for Manhasset. Which one of these defenses will crack tonight is going to be the question.
Manhasset and Garden City meeting in the Nassau Class B Final. Not much more needs to be said. The starting lineups and the opening face-off is next from Hofstra on Verizon Fios One Sports. So here they are at Stewart Stadium, Garden City meeting Manhasset once again in the Nassau Class B championship game. Ralph Bednarczyk with Gary Gluck. As the starters are introduced, let's do the same to you. Up front on the attack, for Garden City, Liam Muldoon will be joined by James Basile and Trevor Yaboa-Cody. The first midfield with Will Puccio, Kyle Steinbach, and senior Cole Dutton. Then the defense, James Buckley, Matt DeSimplicis, and junior Colin Hart. They play in front of a senior goalie, 2-year starter, 4 years on the varsity, Teddy Dolan, had made 9 saves, keeping Garden City in the game when it was tight against Southside in the overtime win. He is signed with Binghamton, 88 saves on the season, under the tutelage of head coach Steve Fennell. 12-year head coach, 2 years ago with the Nassau County Coach of the Year, just a 4th lacrosse coach in their 82 seasons. He played his lacrosse right here and then moved on to play at Duke. Today for Manhasset, it's Perfetto up front with Devin Kennedy and Logan Hyde wearing the prestigious number 32. Aiden Mulholland joined by sophomore Peter Lipina and junior Chris Glynn. Defensively, senior James Amarasana with Ed Arnold and Jack Orlando. It's a senior in goal, first-year starter Grant Petraka. Had to make just 1 save against Hewlett in the B semifinal, 84 saves in the year, but a captain in both football and in lacrosse. Under head coach Keith Cromwell, former high school All-American out of Hicksville, who played at Rutgers and starred there, had a long professional career. This is his 2nd year coaching the Manhasset Indians. And ahead of this B championship game, carry a look at your Verizon Fios One Sports keys.
Garden City cleaned it up in the semifinal game against Southside. Too many unforced errors in this first half, and through the game, they've got to play a better game. Justin Coppola has got to do 50% at the faceoffs. That will be a big help getting the possessions. And Manhasset, if they can break down Garden City's defense 6v6, which means they can score 4+ in the transition goals, that'll really help their cause.
So here we go on a humid evening, but under the lights for this magnificent matchup. Manhasset and Garden City, longtime rivals, with Grant Petracca having his opportunity in goal. While on the other end, Teddy Dolan, he's already done this. He's already started 2 county finals. So the playoff rivalry, Carrie, we know about the Woodstick, but it's extended many times in the playoffs. But the biggest one is Garden City 9-1. Manhasset's lone win against the Trojans came back in 1995.
Well, and in addition to that, Ralph, I think it's nice to note that Manhasset has not defeated Garden City twice in the same year since 2015.
Our officials doing the honors: Joe Rosenpollock, Mike Buklowski, and Bob the Thomasis. Ken Berry is managing the box. And we have an early procedure called. Mark Silos will take the majority of the faceoffs for Manhasset. He loses this one, as it's controlled by Garden City's Justin Coppola. And that's one of the many great individual matchups we'll be watching. James Basile back behind. He gets the start today. He had the overtime winning assist to Liam Curtin to get Garden City here. As we spoke with Steve Fennell, kind of a lighthearted moment. We're very thankful to be here, squeezing out a 3-2 victory in OT.
I'm not so sure that was so lighthearted. I think he was being very honest, and I think he was being truthful. They are very lucky to be here, taking that game 3-2 and having to go overtime against Southside.
So Garden City with the first possession, and we'll see how the two teams will approach it. Both have shown tendencies to play more of a slow down possession, patient style, and perhaps which team will be able to run could decide this. As Kyle Steinbach in the first midfield, Cole Dutton. And it's a zone look shown here by Manhasset to start. And we wondered at what juncture Keith Cromwell might show it.
He's showing it early on to see if he can take Garden City a little bit out of their rhythm that they so like to play. And in the first game, he showed a little bit also in the Woodstick Classic. He played a little bit of zone, but did start with the man in that game.
Work back behind to Liam Muldoon. He had 2 of the 3 goals in that game against Southside. Muldoon moves it along. Basile, very good passer. They set up a step down, and it works. Cole Dutton. They set a little screen. Textbook against the zone. 1-0 Trojans.
Early start for Garden City to get them on the board after a first minute and a half of play. Cole Dutton gets a nice look and a nice feed, a very good feed coming from James Basile behind at X. Nice lefty feed. That's what he has, that advantage on that side. And look at the bounce shot, a very nice bounce shot, high to low, and that beats Gavin Petracca to get Garden City on the board early. And that, I think, also sets a very good tempo right now for Garden City.
Cole Dutton committed to Lafayette. That's his 13th. Procedure called again against Silos. So an early theme developing. Coppola, and this one nearly an over and back, with a nifty pickup there by Tyler Wukta to save the Garden City possession. He's a veteran, a rare 4-year varsity player for Garden City that has starred in his role as a D-midi. Gavin Pappas, he will back it out. So a second midfield run, Joe Scatterigia as well for Garden City. And then Liam Curtin also coming on for the first time. So not only that, Garden City has shown both midfields here very early.
And on a warm night like this, I think it's going to be important for both teams. But as Coach Fennell showing that he's not afraid to go to that second midfield early on and allow them to get some looks at the cage and give the first midfield a chance to get their legs back and get back into the game.
Here's Pappas. Pappas able to roll back, getting a little bit of a brush screen. And movement back behind Petracca. Work there by Curtin. Trevor Yaboa-Cody Pappas, he has the D-mini. As he attacks and he's passed off well, Arnold able to shield him. Basile, not normally a big-time shooter, but he shows it there. He was all alone. James Basile, been known for his passing. He sticks the shot, and the dream start for Garden City.
What a nice shot by Basile. James Basile, that's a really nice look at the cage. Gets a nice feed also. And look at the step down. Has a lot of room. Watch the high to low and the bounce shot right off the pipe on the off-stick side. The defense isn't able to get over there quick enough to be able to put anything on the gloves, and Basile has a clean look at the cage.
For James Basile, his 14th. He's been the fourth attackman much of the year. Coppola, and the face-offs that we prognosticated would be so critical. This 3-0 Garden City, and Manhasset had yet to even sniff a touch. Timeout, Garden City. Leading 2-0, and they'll have the ball again with Mark Silos, one of Long Island's top face-off men, regardless of classification. He's getting a lot of recruiting interest, and he won 11 of 15 in that regular season meeting Woodstick win back on April the 28th.
And he had an excellent day that day, as you said, and they were hoping, Manhasset hoping, that he would be able to continue to today.
So as Steve Fennell said, you know, hey, we're thankful, we're very lucky to be here. Let's show you how they did it. Tied at 2, they trailed for some stretches. This was in the overtime. Basile feeding Liam Curtin, and the senior buried it 3-2.
Well, you know, they put Basile in that particular situation, Ralph, because he is a lefty and he's got the lefty feed, and he looks on the back left side of the cage to be able to make that feed. If you have a righty back there, you can't make that feed clearly without having the interference of having to pass over the net and over the goalkeeper's stick.
And among the issues that Garden City had to work their way through, Carries, we spoke with Steve Fennell, the uncharacteristic drop passes, just not connecting, as we see their road to the championship here at 14-3. They just looked a bit out of sorts, balls in and out of sticks. It was just not like that.
Absolutely. They were having a very difficult time of it in the first half, and even carried into the second half a little bit more than we would have expected, because they are usually and characteristically they are very efficient in the offensive half.
They've been efficient here at 2-0, and they have the ball just outside the box. Two procedure calls and a clean face-off win by Justin Coppola. Now back to the first midfield as Steinbach returns. Pappas, as he's being chased and jabbed at outside by James Amorosana, senior, headed to Marquette defensively for Manhasset. Muldoon. And carrying Manhasset continues to show zone on all 3 possessions.
I'm thinking to myself when they may switch over to the man, keeping in mind that Garden City now has had some pretty nice success in being able to move the ball and get good passing through the seams of the zone.
Back in the regular season meeting, Steve Fennell noting that we saw a mix of both that day, and that's what they've been preparing for. The Trojans averaging about 9.8 goals per game against a great schedule as always. 15th in Nassau County, but of course you have to factor in who you face. Skip pass, Pappas thought about it, and they will look for something even better, but then the knockdown and the ground ball picked up by Manhasset. Tough pickup as Tim Barrett, the pole, knocked it down. Here are the Indians for the ball for the first time, and it's Ed Arnold that delivers. They get the transition goal they've been looking for. Ed Arnold with his second of the season, and it's 2-1.
Arnold does a great job as he legs that one down after the turnover by Garden City, and no one comes to pick him up. Look how deep he was able to get in onto the net and get a look at Teddy Dolan in the cage. And I have always always believed that it is tougher for a goaltender to pick up the ball coming out of the stick of a long pole than it is out of the shorty. And Eddie Arnold really does a nice job legging it down and getting a nice high to low shot against Dolan.
He's been guarding the number one man on the opponent for much of the last 3 years. So for Keith Cromwell, as we mentioned in our keys, Manhasset get something early, and they do in early offense. This time, Silos and Coppola in a stalemate. No one wants to budge.
As they're jockeying for position off the wing area, guys, but look at that. Coppola winning it.
4-0 in faceoffs. Another knockdown is Manhasset's Jake Tolentino. One of their 2 poles that split. But the recovery by Danny Bacafola, and the Trojans indeed have the ball. 6.5 to go as these 2 teams, perhaps from a talent perspective, loaded with tremendous poles on both sides. Virtually every pole that will get on the field in this game will play in college, and headlined by both Hart of Garden City and Arnold of Manhasset.
And both of those guys are top-level players, without a doubt, both going to obviously D1 schools, Ivy League schools, so they're students as well, which is very nice to see. Now, the zone that Manhasset is playing a little bit of on a unique style is that they drop the 2 short sticks down low, and they're polling 2 up top.
And that's a similar look, Carrie, that Steve DiPietro, and congratulations to the Cyclones for their season. That's similar to the zone that they played against this Garden City team that stifled them for so long. In this case, it's 35 Ross Tortora and 37 John Whalen that have those responsibilities for Manhasset. The seal. And here's the stall warning for the first time. Yeboah Cody on the sweep. Pass knocked down. Arnold. This one kicks out all the way to midfield. And it won't be an over and back, but procedure called because the stall was on. So Manhasset does get the defensive stand. They've had the ball, 15 seconds. And here they are with their first settled possession with Tortora. And the game yet is only 2-1.
And the question is now, can they break down this Garden City 6-on-6?
So the first midfield with Aiden Mulholland, Peter Lapina, and Chris Glenn. Mulholland, who had 2 goals against Hewlett, able to break down the Hewlett Bulldogs zone defense that gave Manhasset problems in a 6-1 win. Here's Louis Perfetto. Last year in the final was his coming-of-age game, a career-high 3 goals and an assist, and he jump-started his junior year off of that. He leads Manhasset with 54 points. Mulholland, met by Bacafola. And the pass across, they had Glenn, it carries through. Logan Hyde. Glenn was open on the sweep. The Indians will try again. Manhasset a shade under 10 goals per game. Perfetto tried to get topside, and Perfetto hung up there by Colin Hart, but the flag is out. So Perfetto did not turn it over. Opportunity for the free shot. Mulholland.
And Garden City, look at, they also have 3 poles. 2, they're double polling up top. They have the shorty down on the crease. And now they have a shorty behind the cage.
Lapina against Granville. Granville and Tyler Wukta, the 2 terrific D-middies for Garden City. Mulholland's feed would have tied up Hyde. Another flag is coming out. So this is going to end up being a 2-man up situation for Manhasset.
And Steve Fennell, Coach Fennell, pleading his case to the official.
We have one illegal body check. That was the second call. This is the 32nd call against Hart.
There's the hold right there. As soon as you get your stick underneath the arm, you are generally going to get that hold call. And here's another save by Dolan. He is just so big in the cage. He plays so well, and he gets in. He gets himself in for these big games. So tough to beat. So it's a 6-on-4 now, Ralph. Garden City boxing in the middle, boxing the defense, hoping to give away a perimeter shot. You don't want to give away the inside.
Oh, there's a nifty behind the back look. Fortunate to have backup is Manhasset as taking that shot. The Indians will keep it. And a look coming from Nolan Garcia, who is a freshman on this man up. This is off the stick of Mulholland. And the 6-on-4 raked in momentarily. And the pickup by Aiden Mulholland. So the first 30 seconds is over. And timeout by Manhasset. They preserved the possession before Garden City swarmed Aiden Mulholland.
Well, Garden City was going after that loose ball, and that's going to be big, you know, the possession off the loose balls, and especially in this situation with Manhasset having had the two-man advantage. Now it's just really down to a one-man advantage. But that was very big coming up with that ground ball and maintaining the possession in the extra man. Garden City does a nice job with the two-man down situation.
So here are the Indians at 12-5. As we said, they had to earn it, Carey, in a 6-1 victory, but eventually able to solve Hewlett's very tight, packed-in zone with Logan Hyde, the goal there, and Grant Petraka here making just his only save of the game.
And that was a big save, too, to have only one, but you needed it there in that situation. But, yeah, give credit. It was a very tight zone, which made it a little bit more difficult for Manhasset.
The Indians do celebrate their fourth win in a row to move to 12-5 to play in this Nassau County Class B championship game. They are looking for their first county title since 2015. They've won the county 16 times going back to 1963 officially. And they've been playing since the early 30s, as the young man had on his t-shirt, the Woodstick Classic, the longest continuing high school lacrosse rivalry in the country. Still 28 seconds remaining. The Garden City 1-minute slash on James Buckley. Colin Hart's 30-second foul is over, so it's a 6-on-5. Luis Perfetto. Perfetto losing it, and the ball on the ground. Nicely done, just to keep it alive is Lapina. Final 5 seconds for Manhasset. And we are all even. Racing on is Granville, and Manhasset gets just one shot during the man up. Mulholland trying to change it. On off the split dodge, he misses wide.
Nice dodge, too, by Mulholland to be able to get himself into shooting position. But I give credit to the Garden City defense. They withstood that man down, two-man down for 30, and then another man down for another 30. So they were staunch in defense.
Glynn thought about the step down, then takes the shot. And the key moment in that sequence, Carey, was the ball off the stick of Aiden Mulholland that took them out of the settled situation. But the Indians keeping possession. And it looks like they're also facing a zone look here from Garden City.
Yep, and Garden City started in this this quarter in a man and now have switched over to the zone.
And with two super defensive teams, the chess match is on.
Who will be able to penetrate either one of these two zones? The offense is going to be tested tonight against two very good defensive teams.
Perfetto, check that rather Lapina, no angle. Here's Perfetto, 50 seconds. Glynn, a junior, verbal to Georgetown. Mulholland, only a sophomore. Glynn penetrates through, save made off the stick by Dolan. And the ground ball, we're going to get a loose ball push against Manhasset. Teddy Dolan with the save.
And watch this opportunity again coming in. Dolan does his job as he has done so often for Garden City. Comes up big on the big opportunities. You know, you watch that Garden City defense, Ralph, and they are so compact. They don't really get drawn out. They don't chase. They don't pull apart the seams of those of that zone. They stay very compact in front of the cage.
Short time for Garden City carry. 10 seconds remaining as Dutton moves it along. Basile has the cutter and the shot. Petraka has to make a big save on Curtin. Ground ball dug out. Yeboah Cody behind the back flip. And that's it. Each goalie coming up with a terrific save. Grant Petraka keeps it a one-goal game in the Nassau Class B final. 2-1 Trojans headed to the second quarter. From Hofstra on Verizon, Fios The championship game in Nassau County Class B is headed to the second quarter with Garden City leading Manhasset 2-1 here at Hofstra. It's championship season, Carrie. High school, college. We just saw a terrific national championship game on the women's side over at Stony Brook. Congratulations to JMU. Garden City well represented at the men's level at Division I this weekend in Foxborough, including Justin Gutterding, class of 2013. What a career. He graduates as the #1 all-time goal scorer in Division I history. And he started for Steve Fennell, as Steve did at Duke. And Gutterding had 2 goals and an assist as Duke fell to Yale in the national championship game.
And congratulations to both teams and to Yale for winning the NCAA D1s. But Gutterding, what a career he had at Duke. Without any hesitation, it has to be ranked among the top careers.
And both of these communities well represented. Thomas Duran is on the Yale team as that face-off number glaring at 4-0 Coppola against Silos.
Coppola very, very content to just muck it up with Silos and see if the wings can come in.
Hold called against Manhasset. So the Trojans have won all 5 in much different ways. And also to mention Tyler Warner, D-Mitty out of Baldwin. That starred, and there's Coppola doing his job. But Duran from Manhasset was there, Lucas Kotler of Syosset. So Nassau County well represented in the national championship game. Another zone look by the Indians. Yeboah Cody and shoots low to low. This one is off goal as he probed for an area. Trevor Yeboah Cody, football star. He's never lost a varsity football game as the Trojans super successful the last 2 years, including another Rutgers Cup. They've gone 12-0 in consecutive years, and he is their star running back. Starts in the attack here during lacrosse season.
Likes to sit out on the wing a little bit to be able to get that hard right-handed shot.
Yeboah Cody. Flip pass. Liam Muldoon. Feed inside, and they got a great look. And a shot missed, though. Will Puccio right in the high crease area.
And Will Puccio took a little bit of a hit as he got that feed inside. But you saw Garden City able to penetrate the zone and getting the feed into the high crease into Puccio.
So Yeboah Cody against those 2 D-middies. Then he knifes his way through, fought off there. Perhaps Petraka had to make a save low. But this ground ball dug up by Kyle Steinbach on the sideline. Steinbach, tough catch. Dutton on the roll. Dutton, it's Yeboah Cody again. Weaves his way through and finishes. Well, it's as if they called his number just like they do in the fall. This possession featured him often. 3-1.
Well, Steinbach coming up with the ground ball was really critical for that goal to go. And there you see the little feed down low. The defenseman overruns Trevor Yeboah Cody and allows him to be able to get in on a good look. There's the feed. There's the defenseman overplaying Yeboah Cody and Trevor having a nice look at the cage, finishes it. Now he took 3 shots in that possession, one of which he was able to finish.
17th, 2-year starter this year, primarily on the attack. In the fall, 30 total touchdowns. And he was a finalist for the Nassau County Player of the Year, also known as the Thorpe Award. And let's give an assist to Cole Dutton. Silos nearly came away out of that scrum with it. And this one, a full-time rugby scrum that Coppola kicks ahead. And Coppola couldn't pick it up cleanly. It pops out. Still loose. Finally scooping is Manhasset. And they have it with James Amorosana. Taken away, though, in tight, and a finish. Colin Hart picking the pocket. And he fed it to Basile for a layup.
That goal was scored because of 2 things: winning the ground ball and hustling to get to the ground ball. And that's what you got to do to win the game in the big time. You got to be able to come up with the ground ball. That's a nice scoop right there. But look at the ride, and there's the pole, being able to find it on the far side. And there you see that was Colin Hart being able to get the ball fed to the back pipe. Basile finishing that one off on the back pipe, getting goal number 2 tonight.
Justin Coppola jarred it free from Amorosana. And here's another pickup. Nearly a replay of what we just saw. Coppola again flew in. And a loose ball push against the Indians. So Garden City, in essence, has won every single face-off now of this game. And again, bear in mind, Mark Silos and the Manhasset Wings in the Woodstick Classic at Garden City, April 28th, won 11 out of 15 that day.
What a job right now Coppola and the Wings are doing for Garden City, but give credit to Justin Coppola. They felt he was going to be good. I think he is better than good tonight so far. He's been going about 70 to 75%. You can't get much better than where he is at this point in the game. And again, if you recall, we said he's got to do better than 50% for Garden City to have the possessions and the opportunity to be able to put points up on the board. So he has exceeded at this point that statistic.
Steinbach with a rip. Steinbach using the screen.
No shots for Manhasset so far this quarter. We're about 4 minutes in. And I was going to say also the possession has been with Garden City the entire time, and that is because of Coppola and the job he has been doing at the face-off X. Manhasset hasn't even seen the ball.
By the way, the assist to Colin Hart, and I have it as his first career point. Sweeping across, shooting and beating Petracolo is Steinbach.
Steinbach scores it at 7:50.
Kyle Steinbach, he may be their best weapon right now. He can shoot on the run. He can shoot standing still, but he gets a nice feed. He sweeps across to his right. From top right, he sweeps to his right to get that hard right-handed shot. And he's a big guy at 6'2", and he is a dynamic offensive player. He is a force right now at the midfield for Garden City.
Headed to Providence. That's his 19th. This has been by far his best offensive season. Started out his career kind of primarily as a Fogo, as he developed and graduated up to the first midfield as a senior.
And believe it, Steinbach, who has been the face-off guy, was replaced by Coppola.
And Coppola right now completely doing the job. It's 7-1 now in draws.
And I think he's, I think he's got Mark Silos thinking about everything he's doing at the X.
Timeout Trojans, the lone face-off win by Manhasset. They turned over
Timeout.
shortly thereafter. So Garden City at 5-1. Regular season meeting we've been referring to. Back on April the 28th, Manhasset was able to win at Garden City, picking up the late goal from Peter Lapina at 5-4 before a couple of empty netters put that game away.
And clearly, as you see, Manhasset had some real nice looks at the cage, driving from behind the cage, shooting up top. They got in tight, and you see the nice feeds off the cuts coming down from the midfield, and a lot of the Garden City midfielders got caught ball watching and losing sight of their cutter coming down from the midfield.
Aiden Mulholland had goals 6 and 7, as Garden City had to double the ball and leave the net exposed. And that was the final, with Lapina getting the game winner that made it 5-4. That was the difference maker. And that's where we are to at least set the tone ahead of a potential collision course. And we are here in the Nassau B final. But it's happened before, Gary, where Garden City has lost in the regular season meeting and then won it. And at times it feels like the Garden City the regular season meeting has been irrelevant in this rivalry.
Well, you're right about that. You know, I'm not so sure that winning the regular season meeting is an advantage in this game. I think Garden City comes into this game with a little chip on their shoulder, knowing that they lost that game and that they have something to prove. And beating Garden City 2 times in one season is a tough, tough task for any team, including Manhasset, as good as they are.
The Indians need a stop. They got one and got a transition goal from Ed Arnold. So far, nothing in the 6-on-6 as we're nearly midway through this opening quarter. I'll make that opening half. Dutton, senior midi. And also coming on for the first time, Jack Muldoon. He's been a frequent starter in the attack too. 7 in maroon. Here in the turn, Joe Scatarigia is evolving as an offensive midi. A junior known for his great play as a D midi.
Manhasset now has gone to the man defense. Ralph, they've come out of that zone and gone into a man defense.
Muldoon, so as Garden City identifies the matchups.
Now you're going to see Garden City look to see if they can get the ball in the stick of the midfielder who's being defended by the short stick.
In this case, it's Scatarigia at the moment. Steinbach.
He's got the pole.
Feed to the crease. Inside it came with a stall warning on, then a flip shot wide. That was Jack Muldoon, really creatively putting that one on target. Stall warning remains in effect. Scatarigia, part of a Nassau County boys basketball championship team. The Trojans, this might be the best year in a decade from all sports. As Scatarigia walked in front, and he had a good angle.
And he had the short stick, and he knew it, and that's what prompted him to go to the cage. Scatarigia, the junior, second-year varsity player.
Muldoon, chop checked out of his stick by Amarasana, and out of the box. Excellent defense by James Amarasana, a 3-year starter and one of the captains of this Manhasset team.
Amarasana commit to Marquette, very athletic as a pole.
Transition for John Whalen, an invaluable D-midi for the Indians. Up ahead, Lapina, and the Indians have work to do. They bring on Chris Alcaraz, their 4th attack minute, in on the crease.
Now this is the first possession, 6-on-6 with 5 minutes remaining in this half. 7 minutes Garden City had the ball in this quarter so far.
And Carrie, when you were coaching your teams, how about the rhythm or the lack thereof? And how does an attack unit prevent losing it or not having it.
Well, you know, it's hard because, you know, an attack now knows, you know, we've got our ball, we've got the possession now, we've got to go to the goal and we've got to come up with something, so it puts a little bit more pressure on the attack. And of course the defense for Garden City, they've been standing around, they're fresh. You know, they're not tired carrying those big poles.
Lapina, tough grab. Sophomore Peter Lapina, that's had a great rise to the first midfield. As Alcaraz will work on Matt Granville. And then a switch by Wukta. Shots in the quarter are 9-0 Garden City. And Mulholland.
Put the stall on!
Alcaraz trying to get top side, bouncer missed. Perfetto back up to Manhasset.
But did you see as Manhasset attacked the cage, Teddy Dolan comes out, steps to the shooter to cut down that angle.
Roll back Perfetto. Here's the step down. Lapina. Exactly what the Indians have been waiting for.
Lapina lands at 3:37.
Lapina is able to score this goal because the slide went too early. Watch the slide by the midfielder. Here he is going now, which leaves Lapina open. Okay, that was Granville. He was a little anxious to help out against Perfetto. He comes into the picture here, so that leaves Lapina open, and it's a nice shot. He puts it high to low, off stick side. Great shot placement by Lapina.
It's only his 7th, but Keith Cromwell, who would know, terrific midfielder, says he is developing. He has a really high ceiling and may not even know how good he is yet. He had 2 assists against Hewlett in the semifinal and picks up his 7th there. Coppola kicks it ahead. This time the scrum won by Manhasset and James Amarasana. So Manhasset for the first time with consecutive possessions. Mulholland, and it was a bit unsettled.
Now that really was the first goal that Manhasset was able to score tonight on the 6v6. They're going to have to break down this Garden City defense a little bit more during the course of this game to be able to get themselves in good position.
Glenn on the move, easily into the stick of Dolan, who's a lefty. Up ahead though, Yeboah Cody. Yeboah Cody races in, gathers it, picks it up and keeps going.
Look at the effort by Yeboah Cody, going down on the scoop and then continuing.
And then a big skip pass. What a delivery. Yeboah Cody setting up Liam Muldoon.
The pass from Trevor Yeboah Cody.
Trevor Yeboah Cody made that goal go by his efforts, by him coming up with the ground ball, taking it behind the cage, and then looking up top to be able to find his teammate Liam Muldoon for the step down. The defense can't make it over in time. That long pole's got to come out with his stick forward to be able to check the gloves of Liam Muldoon, and instead gives Muldoon a clean look at the cage. But give credit to Yeboah Cody. He made that goal go. I love that effort on the far side of the field, Ralph. He went down, he got up, maintained the possession off a hard check on the other side of the field, the far side.
Gary, as I told you, it's very hard to take Trevor Yeboah Cody down here at Hofstra, even if the football lines are not out there. Silos, and it was at his feet. 24 in white. Arnold had the opportunity, but we have a whistle prior to the pickup, and the ball is going to, well, they pointed, well, they initially pointed the other way,
yeah,
but it's going to be Manhasset
for
ball.
Garden City. So I'm assuming then that one of the Garden City poles came over, crossed out of the box before the possession was called.
Yeah, they pointed the other way. So Mulholland They clear out for Aiden Mulholland. Stop made again. Another one-on-one by Dolan. And out to the races comes Wukta.
What a clear by Dolan. Wukta has a 6-on-4.
Muldoon down low. Jumping shot. There's Petraka with the answer in tight on Steinbach. And the flag coming out. We'll have a man up coming for Garden City.
What a great chance again, but give Dolan credit. Not only does he make the save, doesn't give the rebound up, and gets a quick release into the short stick of Wukta, who has now the fast break opportunity, and they set up with that fast break offense. The save is what really does it right there. Look at that. No rebound. He gets down to his knees, and he makes that clearing pass. Teddy Dolan really is having an exceptional game, an exceptional season.
He made 10 saves in last year's county final, which was an 8-6 victory by Garden City. They had to stave off a Manhasset comeback after Garden City had a 7-2 lead a year ago. Manhasset had cut it to 7-6, but won it 8-6.
And 4 saves for Dolan now.
Steinbach, good extra, Yaboa Cody.
Oh man, Yaboa Cody.
It's a man-up goal for Garden City, and Yaboa Cody with 1-1 in the quarter.
That was a rip also. Extra man goal. They move the ball around so nicely. And look at Yaboa taking that nice shot. Give the assist to Steinbach. Overhand. Off-stick shot. Nice shot placement by Trevor. And it's now a 5-goal lead for the Trojans of Garden City.
One minute remains in the first half.
Easily now the longest stalemate between these two outstanding face-off guys.
Now look at the wings fighting for position, but look at Coppola. He is very content. He is just he's just locking up on silos.
This is almost like a wrestling stalemate where the officials would say, all right, let's restart. Someone goes up, someone goes into a down position. They could finish out the first half.
They very well may.
Telling him on stick hit. Told you. That still goes in.
Both these guys are trying to get underneath to be able to get themselves in body position.
Coppola finally went after it, so it was somewhere in the vicinity of 50 seconds of a stalemate. Pick up by Arnold. Short time though for Manhasset. Time will run out. And that moment there is what I think has given Steve Fennell a little bit of an extra kick in his step as he runs off the field. 7-2 Garden City leading Manhasset in the Nassau Class B championship game. When we return, we'll show you how they did it with our first half statistics and highlights. You're watching the Nassau County Playoffs on Verizon Fios One Sports. 7-2 Garden City leading Manhasset in the Nassau County Class B championship game. The Trojans trying to make it 3 in a row and just add more hardware en route to another potential state title run. Ralph Bednarczyk with Carrie Gluck. Manhasset was the 1 seed after winning the regular season. This was an Ed Arnold goal carry that made it 2-1 at the end of 1.
And that goal comes in transition, but really it was mostly all Garden City. Look at Trevor Yaboa Cody taking on the defenseman who overruns him. And look at the effort here. Where the scoop coming up by the pole. Colin Hart makes the feed to the back pipe and finds his teammate James Basile there. And look at Steinbach drives. He sweeps across with the hard right-handed shot and is able to really find the back of the net. They twirl that net. Manhasset gets another opportunity, closes it to 5-2. That was a nice passing catch and a shot. Yaboa Cody with the little skip. And what a rip here. That was up top by Liam Muldoon. Top shelf and a hard one And another hard shot by Yeboah Cody. They are having shooting practice here for Garden City in the first half. Out shooting Manhasset 15-10, but look at that. 10 out of the 15 are on goal. And the saves are pretty even. Face-offs. Whoever would have thought 8-3 in favor of Coppola, one of our statistics, as we'll take a look at it again on the keys. And the turnovers, they have definitely cleaned it up. They had 11 turnovers the other night in the semifinal in the first half. They've cleaned that up as well.
All Trojans. A year ago, Manhasset put together a great second half comeback to make it tight. They'll need to do so, and then some, beginning in the third quarter. That's coming up next from Hofstra on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. As we start the third quarter, Garden City with the 5-goal lead over Manhasset in the Nassau Class B championship game from Hofstra. With Carrie Gluck, I'm Ralph Bednarchik. As we revisit, Carrie, your keys to the game. We spent a lot of time prognosticating and putting these together. How are they looking?
Well, Garden City, they did clean it up. Only 4 turnovers in the first half. Coppola, 50% plus. Well, guess what? He's at 73%, 8 out of 11. He's right on target for his year. Manhasset break down the Garden City defense. They've done that but once, and they've only scored 1 goal in transition, and that was by the Pole Arnold.
Again, Carrie, terrific keys.
Right on.
So 7-2 is our score. And the Indians, behind Lou Perfetto last year, who is now on the field as a starting attackman, and they had to put together a huge second half comeback last year against some of these same characters on the other side. But it will need to be started here. Carrie, how much time do you talk to Mark Silas perhaps on the face-off guys? You know, there's a lot to cover in halftime speeches and talks. How about from that perspective?
Well, you know, the face-off guys are unto themselves. They like to work on themselves, work by themselves. They like to just click those hands and see how quick they can go. And there you see another opportunity. Look at, you saw Silas there, a little bit edgy, and he loses it once again off the procedure.
And I think that's probably been about 3 procedure calls early. Perhaps it set the tone for the remainder of that first half.
I think Coppola's already into his head.
So Coppola, who has some wrestling in his background, not a varsity wrestler, but was also a youth wrestler. And we've seen kind of the wrestling come out too with a lot of long scrums and stalemates against one of Long Island's best face-off men, sophomore Mark Silos.
Now let's remember, in the second quarter, Manhasset did not get a possession and an offensive look at the cage for 5 minutes remaining. So it was a 7-minute possession for Garden City. And we'll see what happens in this third quarter.
Cole Dutton, step down, Muldoon. Trojans keep it. Then if you're Steve Fennell, life is grand at 7-2. What do you think he talked to his team about?
Let's continue winning the ground balls. That was so instrumental, I think, in the first half, in addition, of course, to the face-off guy. But winning the ground balls was critical, and let's continue to go to that, and let's continue to be patient on offense, get the good looks, and see if we can get inside. But again, you're seeing right now, Manhasset appears to be in their man defense, whereas in the beginning of the game, they came out in a zone.
Yeboah Cody. Sprint dodge. Across it came. Basile turns, fires. And backup belongs to Manhasset.
Give credit to Grant Petraka getting out of the cage real quick to get the possession. That was very important.
Here comes the ride as they'll bottle up Ross Tortora, a senior D-Midi. They came back after not playing last year as a varsity wrestler. Came back out for his senior year and playing that indispensable, thankless position of short stick D-Midi. So here are the Indians in the offensive end. And then if you're Keith Cromwell, coaching Manhasset, Carey, number one, if you do get enough possessions, but what do you think his message was to his team about how to break down the defense?
Well, I think it's important that they move the ball and not hold it and try to go too much one-on-one. They've got to move the ball. And then I think on the other side, they know Dolan's a good goalie. They've got to take good shots, high percentage shots. They can't just shoot it from the outside.
Senior Logan Hyde.
Here comes the double from the backside.
And Perfetto's pass just a little bit short of his attackman there, Devin Kennedy, but recovered. Kennedy would have been all by himself. Then this pass, and Lapina will gather it. It is the white line behind goal. Lapina getting past Wukta. This one off the side netting. Dolan is able to scoop, and Garden City has the possession.
And a good one again. Dolan being able to come up with that one. And they get the clear going. And it's a nice clear setup for Garden City.
Crossing the midfield stripe, 11, Cole Dutton.
Second Garden City possession here of the third quarter. And they go back to Joe Scatterigian here with a score at 7-2. Gary, as we looked at the Garden City defensive numbers, yes, they're fantastic at about 3.8 allowed, but you break it down even deeper into first halves. Garden City's only given up 25 first half goals in 17 games coming in. Some of that was even with the second team in because they had lopsided games in second quarters. But still, that averages out to less than about 1.4 goals allowed in first halves.
Phenomenal. That's phenomenal, Ralph.
And that's by their, we would consider their starters out there, and they weren't always out there in the first halves, with some of those games lopsided, but as a point of reference, just 25 goals allowed by their starters in 17 games.
That gives you an indication of how tough this Garden City defense is to break them down and to be able to attack 6v6. The best chance I think most teams have against Garden City is get the transition goals. You've got to try and get down quickly before that defense gets set and coming off winning the faceoffs.
Stahl is on the Trojans after they worked it around a couple times. So now Scatterigia had Whalen on him.
Scat had the short stick on him as he was behind the cage.
And there's Muldoon. And shot that across cage. Liam and his younger brother Jack, they will both be on the first University of Utah team, the first Pac-12 men's lacrosse program that begins in 2019. Liam was among the first to commit. Jack will follow him. And one of their assistant coaches is the great Long Islander, Adam Gittleman, former Cold Spring Harbor goalie. We saw Cold Spring Harbor earlier today pick up a narrow 1-goal win over Wantagh to capture their 4th string Nassau C championship. Steinbach trying to make the turn, and he was met there very quickly. Stall warning still on. Scatterigia nearly had the defender held up before the recovery by Whalen.
Scatterigia likes to go and invert behind the cage with that short stick.
And then into traffic, but a flag is out as Manhasset jarred it free. But this long possession is going to result in a Garden City man up.
Well, we'll see where it's going to come right there. I think that's where the penalty is. Right there. Look at that little slash. And that's good defense for the most part by Manhasset, but you don't want to give up an extra man chance now to Garden City. It'll be a 1-minute EMO for the Trojans.
Yeah, that takes Chris Glynn off the field, who was in there as a D-mini. So the stall is still in effect during the man up, which perhaps can squeeze the field a touch. Yabo Cody off the pass fake. He's got 2. James Basile with 2 to lead Garden City offensively. Jack Muldoon movement. Sullivan on the field. Out top it comes Liam Muldoon, and that one safely into the stick of Petracca.
Now, Liam Muldoon had a really nice shot. His shot selection was to be questioned as he put it high right on the stick side of Petracca.
And the Indians.
Nice job being man down and getting that clear.
And they get it to Perfetto. Here's the timeout. Keith Cromwell and Manhasset still with 7 seconds remaining on the man down. But looks like they're going to escape getting the big stop from Grant Petracca.
Well, similar to the second quarter, with 5 minutes now remaining in this quarter, just as it was in the second, Manhasset will have now a possession in the offensive zone. And watch Petracca. The pole, good job. That was Eddie Arnold. Looks to the weak side to redirect, put it into the stick of the other pole on the other side.
You can also watch highlights on.
And there's a timeout called for. Good timeout called for by Keith Cromwell. You know your man down. You want to be able to keep the possession right now. Eat up the rest of that man down situation and get your all even in on the field.
Well, now they have to find a way to solve the Trojans defensively. As we touched on, just remarkable, the defense that the Trojans have always had. Last year, second in the county at 4.4. They've always been basically in the top 5 during this run. And Steve Fennell, who is an attackman, but his defense has been super. And this is up to the moment, at taking into account their 2 goals allowed into an overtime game against Southside. Manhasset, not too shabby, but especially significant because that's even playing a lot of lopsided games where the second unit is out there playing 2+ quarters.
Absolutely. I mean, they ran into running time also 4 times over the course of the season. So that, also makes it a little bit more meaningful.
So Mulholland steps in. A few more seconds. So we are all even. Chris Glynn will come on.
And the penalty has expired.
And again, Manhasset has to start to find a way to break down this Garden City defense. They've only scored 1 on the all-even 6-on-6. The other goal they scored was in the transition by Arnold.
Perfetto.
Down low. They're looking to lock off down low and not give the feed inside. All right, off the crease.
That's Chris Alcaraz, the crease attackman, 10 in white. Alcaraz, a little bit of space. He's got 6 goals, 2 assists.
See what they're willing to do, they're willing to let Dolan handle the perimeter shots. They just don't want to give up anything in tight. Now look at Manhasset. They've opened it up into a wide 2-2.
Mulholland, here's a better look. They get the lefty rip from Lapina.
Lapina getting his 2nd goal of the game, and that was a quick shot. He gets the ball and he doesn't hesitate a second to let that ball go. Here's the feed and a quick shot. You look to see how quick that was. Mulholland gets the assist, but look how quick Lapina gets it out of his stick and gets it down low on Dolan. That's a quick shot, and Lapina really finishes it off very well. And give Mulholland, the freshman, a nice feed and a nice assist.
This time Coppola wins it cleanly. And he's been the man of this match. In tight, and it leads to an easy one. Stuffed by Steinbach.
Well, if Manhasset thought they were able to gain any momentum, Steinbach and Coppola put an end to that real quick. Coppola winning it cleanly. Fast break offense. Watch Coppola. Little pop and go. Gets it into the right hand. Up top. And there's the finish by Steinbach. Give the assist to Liam Muldoon. He pops up on top, and he gets the pass from Coppola, and it goes tic-tac-toe. Coppola to Mulholland, to Steinbach. Goal.
At the yellow are Silos and Coppola.
Coppola, as Silos dove after it, Coppola wins it again. A junior bound for Villanova that had a very good football season. His toughness they laud. And now Coppola has the cherry on top.
Wow, what a job this kid is doing today. This kid is having the game of his life. Again, winning it clean, coming right down Main Street. Look at that little dodge move. High to low, overhand shot. Coppola finding the back of the net. Makes the nets ripple. Good finish by Justin Coppola. Winning face-offs. Getting fast break opportunities. Getting goals. This young man is having an outstanding evening, one that he will remember.
We'll take the procedure call there, but the damage has been done. The goal by Steinbach came just 8 seconds after the Lapina goal, and then Coppola a few seconds after the Steinbach goal. And one that could be the most demoralizing on this night to Manhasset. Perfetto, who tried to knife his way through Hart, who jarred it free.
Perfetto, the leading scorer for Manhasset, one of the top scorers in Nassau County, has 1 assist this evening.
Good feed and tight, and there is Dolan to fight off the angle on Alcaraz. Perfetto, pick it up. Second chance for Manhasset. Perfetto walks in front, tried to stuff it over the top side. It'll stay with the Indians.
I think a miscommunication on the part of the Garden City defense allowed Perfetto to be able to attack the cage from X. There was no defender on that side of the cage. And it forced a slide.
Two minutes to go in the third quarter. Aiden Mulholland. And Perfetto against this highly effective zone. And the two D-middies that have both been very good right in tight.
Oh, look at that nice defense. Did not overplay. I thought the defender was going to overplay and allow the attackman to get inside on him.
Off the stick fake, Alcaraz, and that shot did not come out of the stick properly that he would have liked. That's what this defense can do to you, is an inside dodger that comes in off the bench today as the Indians look for an answer. Lapina back to his left, stop made as it perhaps it nicked off the pipe as Dolan came out to challenge, and it has been that kind of night for Teddy Dolan and the Garden City defense.
And when Dolan steps up, it forces you to rush your shot. And that's exactly what happened there. Lapina had a nice little look, but he saw Dolan out of the corner of his eye coming up and cutting that angle, and it forced him to try and rush the shot and get a little bit better angle.
Scatterigia, 35 seconds to go.
Now he's got the short stick. He'll go behind the cage where he likes to sit. And I think you'll see Garden City now hold for the last shot. Go into the fourth quarter with at least a 6-goal lead.
Scatterigia, open Yeboah Cody. Another cherry on top. 3 goals for Trevor Yeboah-Cody. He loves playing at Hofstra.
Oh, what a night for Trevor Yeboah-Cody. Give Scatteregia the credit on the feed. But watch the finish. Here comes the feed from Scatteregia behind the cage. And look at that. That's going to be a highlight shot behind the back for Yeboah-Cody. Great feed, and what a finish by Yeboah-Cody. He is showing everything tonight with that over-the-back highlight shot, a rip earlier tonight, 3 goals, and an assist. The hat trick to go with an assist tonight for Trevor. And this will lock it up for the end of the quarter.
All Trojans, a stalemate as Coppola finishes it off. Lapina had gotten the first one, but 3 terrific goals by Garden City, and they have opened up a 7-goal margin as we go to the 4th, looking for their 3rd consecutive county title on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. (10-3) Garden City, and in total control as the Trojans, they came in winners of 6 in a row, and they look like a very dangerous team, Carrie, to get off of Long Island. There is a very good Suffolk B competitor, Harborfields or East Islip, but that's the next game. And beyond that, though, to capture another state championship the way they're playing today.
Well, I think the three-peat is there for Garden City for the taking right now. And if Coppola keeps up his job and doing what he has been doing, it could be lights out pretty soon for Manhasset.
Garden City's last state title coming back in 2013.
A little bit of a rake to the side, and look at Coppola come up with it. Roll dodge.
And Coppola nearly had a second, but a flag out. And the Trojans, they start the 4th quarter with their hair on fire.
And they are feeling it. The Trojans are feeling it right now. They are pumped. The sideline, you can see the sideline, they're jumping up and down. Everything that they're doing right now is coming out smelling roses. Watch Coppola go to the cage. There was a little bit of the slash, I believe that's what they're going to call. And you saw Coppola take one for the team there and you see him on the sideline.
On this hot night, maybe only the weather and cramping could stop Justin Coppola.
Yeah, well, certainly Manhasset can't stop him right now. He is on fire. Extra man now for Garden City. Just what Garden City would like, and what Manhasset cannot afford to do is put their man-down team out.
Foul against Joe Mulholland of Manhasset for the 1-minute slash.
You might as well take 1 minute off the clock with this extra man situation for Garden City. I don't even know that they'll even take a look at the cage.
Muldoon got past the defender. Sets it up for Steinbach.
Yeah, little Steinbach.
Steinbach joins the parade of goal scorers. That is his 3rd. Second man-up goal of the night for Garden City.
They move the ball so well. And there is the little bit of a feed coming from behind the cage. I think they may have given that one to Muldoon, to Liam Muldoon behind the cage. Nope, check that. That might be Jack Muldoon. I knew it was a Muldoon. Can't be too far wrong if you say Muldoon, but there you go. Jack Muldoon getting his assist for tonight.
And Carrie, how about the Garden City shooting? You know, a few nights ago, they take on the South Side packed-in zone. They have to eke it out with a 3-2 win. And in general, as we showed in our keys, Manhasset gathers this ground ball with Tim Barrett, sophomore long pole. And in addition to turning the ball over a number of times, they didn't shoot the ball well against the zone either.
No, and that was one thing I think Coach Fennell was not happy with, was their shooting. They were really taking not good shots, and they were not having high percentage shots, and they weren't on cage. tonight everything is right on cage, and they are making life very hard for Grant Petrarca. Good back check too. That was the Simplicis with the back check.
And then Hart just jarred it free, drawing some oohs and ahs from the crowd. And Garden City has it with Wukta. As he will get across, they've put together a 4-goal run. Manhasset had cut it to 7-3, getting the Lapina goal. That was still early in the third quarter. Basile is able to get away from junior Jack Orlando. First-year starting defender for the Indians with Amorosano and Ed Arnold. And Will Puccio. Garden City 9.5 minutes away for another title. And there's a bounce shot by Dutton, and the save is made by the new Manhasset goalie that just checked in, Stephen Vlahakis, who's seen enough time this season.
Well, that welcomes him into the game, and he does come up for the save, which is what Manhasset needed. They needed to come up with some kind of save on the shots being taken by Garden City. They will work the offense from behind the cage.
Garden City in no rush. Their 3 losses this year, in addition to the Manhasset regular season finale. Dutton given all the time in the world.
Dutton could have taken about 3 more steps into the goal with that one. I think there was a definite breakdown on the Manhasset defense, not picking Dutton up. And lucky for Manhasset, he put it high and wide.
The other 2 losses that the Trojans suffered, early season losses after beating Syosset in the opener 11-5. Syosset losing in the Nassau Class A, the big schools final, to Massapequa. They lost to Smithtown West handily, 11-3. But this is becoming handily. Inside feed, and it is a walk-in for Gavin Pappas.
Pappas getting that goal in tight as he gets a cut. And there it is, Pappas getting the feed from Cole Dutton behind the cage. Dutton has the short stick. He looks to attack the cage, and Manhasset's defense looking to get their eye on Dutton and leaves open the opportunity for Pappas to make his cut from up top.
He's a junior playing second midfield mostly this season, first year on the varsity, and picking up his 3rd. So 7 different Trojans with goals tonight, 10 with points. Procedure called against Coppola, but Coppola's impact may be the greatest. Mark Silos dodges his way through, and that's some good feeling for the young sophomore. It has been a tough evening for him, but he is able to bounce off a couple of checks.
Now he's got good size, does Mark Silos, the sophomore. He's a grinder. He'll bounce off a little roll dodge there, and another slide comes over. He took on almost 5, look at that, 5 maroon shirts around Silos, and he was still able to finish that one off. That was a legal hit. And there he is in the middle of 5 defenders to be able to finish that shot off. I'm sure he is feeling some frustration tonight as he gets his 7th goal of the season, but that may be a bit too late.
We've seen him put together terrific face-off runs as there's procedure called off ball against Garden City. Mark Silos in last year's Nassau County semifinals stole the show. Southside had a very good senior-laden team. Mark Silos, as a freshman, won 19 out of 22 and had a goal and an assist. And his older brother, John, who had a great game, had 3 goals. And including Mark Silos feeding him, that really propelled Manhasset that day to escape from Southside, as Mark Silos added to his early great name back then as a freshman and has a super sophomore season. Until this one, wow, what a shot!
Perfetto.
Lou Perfetto able to turn the corner and whisk that past Dolan to cut it to 7.
Perfetto getting his first goal of the evening. Starting at X. Attacks the cage. Going against Colin Hart. And look at that nice shot with the left hand. Off stick. And that's what made that goal go. But Perfetto looking to move and roll. And look at that shot. It's almost a blind shot, a no-look shot by Louis Perfetto. 1 goal, 1 assist for Perfetto tonight, leading scorer. And Garden City, timeout.
They're not taking any chances. They have seen comebacks from their bitter rivals before. So at 12-5, Trojans. The biggest story, if the game would end now, would be Justin Coppola, the junior face-off man for Garden City, has completely reversed the regular season meaning and then some.
And he has just been outstanding at the face-off X. He has just been winning them in different kinds of ways. He's been pop and go. He's been raking. He's been clamping. He's just trying everything he possibly can in his repertoire. And more importantly, also coming up with ground balls. But look at this effort on the part of Justin Coppola, going all the way after winning the ball cleanly at the face-off, coming down and taking the shot and finishing it off for a goal.
Steve Fennell has talked about the heart that Justin Coppola has, toughness, varsity football kid that's a running back and slot wide receiver. But that has come out and essentially exploded and oozed onto the field as he has lived up to this matchup and then to score a goal to boot. And at that time at 9-3 appeared to be a demoralizer.
And is very athletic, but somewhat undersized, and yet is doing the phenomenal job that he is doing tonight.
So Garden City out of the timeout. And Coppola will meet Silos again. This has been the face-off matchup the whole game. And Coppola has taken 12 of the 19, or 1-12 of the 19. Another procedure call, this Silos, and he went too quickly. And Carrie, of course, there is an art to that aspect of understanding an official's cadence too, that some face-off guys, they never can quite grasp over the course of a game. We've seen that even some of the All-Americans at the Final Four at the Division I level, where they will go through ruts trying to predict or trying to get an official's cadence to get that little advantage, but that'll sometimes cause them a lot of harm.
And you see now there's been a double team. They pull out Petrarca out of the goal, or rather Manhasset pulling the goalie, look to doubling up.
Yeah, it is Grant Petrarca back on the field after we saw Vlahakis for a few minutes of the third quarter.
That's what I thought. I thought it was Petrarca, but then I had second doubts because I know they made that switch. But Petrarca is very athletic.
And the Indians are going to force a turnover.
You know, you got to pull out the stops now if you're Manhasset. You got to go with everything in the playbook here to try and get yourself back into the game. Double teaming up top, double teaming behind, because you know that's where Garden City is going to play with the ball, behind the cage.
And there's a flag down. So Manhasset is about to have a man up. And can they capitalize on the free shots?
There's an extra man on the field for Garden City. They're trying to play with 7 guys now.
So Glenn against the 7 defenders. Hyde. This is a case carry where I don't know if you want to hold the ball here. You're better off
No, you want to shoot it. You want to get into the extra man.
That's a push from the rear.
Unless you can draw a second flag, but it's hard to score against seven defenders.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you want to shoot the ball, not only because it's hard, but because you want to get your EMO on it.
Indeed, it's just one flag.
Penalty is against Garden City. Offside, 30 seconds.
And it's a 30 for the offsides.
Manhasset man advantage for 30.
That may be the first mental error on the part of Garden City tonight. And that's with 5.5 minutes remaining in the game. That's quite a tribute to Garden City, not making those kind of mental mistakes, which often are responsible for turning around a game.
And back behind Perfetto, every official throwing a flag there as they faked the hidden ball trick. Perfetto kept it, and he's shaken up.
First the hold, then on the head.
That's Tyler Wukta that was playing out there man down with a pole. Let's see what happened here to Perfetto.
Oh, that's up high around the neck area, and that's a good call by the official. Call on Wukta. Not usually the guy who plays with a pole, but he is able to play usually a lot on defense. He is a real hard worker. He's tough. And they gave him the pole. And now it's a two-man advantage for Manhasset, an opportunity for them to get another one back here. But this was a situation earlier in the game, Ralph. They have had the two-man advantage earlier. They were not able to capitalize, but I believe it's only about 15 seconds left in the first penalty. And of course, then the full minute now to Wukta.
So officially, Manhasset is 0 for 1 of the game, and they'll have these two opportunities. They had a 6-on-4 very early in the game that they did not cash in, as our officials, great crew with Joe Arzen-Pollock, Mike McCloskey, and Bob DeThomasis doing the honors. And they want to make sure they have the 30 up. They have 1 minute up right now on the clock against Wukta. So they will fix that. The problem is our own Joe Giannotti is in our truck rather than up in the press box. He can't be in two places at once. Meanwhile, for the Trojans, they are 5 minutes and change away from adding this, perhaps in decades, the greatest year, academic or calendar year for Garden City boys sports there's ever been.
Well, look at the success from the Garden City teams. They have such a tremendous athletic program: soccer, football, basketball, and now, of course, lacrosse. They have had tremendous success with outstanding athletes in almost every sport.
Total penalty for Garden City, 1 minute, 30 seconds.
They still have the 1 minute showing, so that's why we are delayed as the Indians wait to start this man up. And that's what's remarkable. You have a player, and there are several out here, Carrie, like we've mentioned his name a couple of times, like Matt Granville, who is going to win a county championship unless something radically changes here. But Granville will have 3 county titles this year in football, boys basketball, and lacrosse.
Wow, how rare is that? You know, what are the chances of one athlete winning 3 county championships in his senior year?
Yeah, James Basile will also be in that same boat. James Basile is the varsity backup point guard in hoops, and he plays soccer.
Oh, okay. They gave Wukta a 1 minute 30 second penalty, a slash and a hold. That was the confusion in the beginning, what the official was trying to relay up to the booth.
5 seconds to go on the 2-man advantage as Chris Glynn with a look wide. A couple more seconds. And here comes the next man in, Yaboa Cody. Now 6-on-5, and this shot wide by Lapina.
Garden City bit the bullet on the 2-man. extra man for Manhasset. Now can they bite the bullet for the 1 minute and now 5 seconds extra man for Manhasset?
Perfetto again faking the handoff to Lapina. He kept it. Glenn along to Aiden Mulholland. Mulholland steps in, and Dolan makes the save.
Oh, nice save by Dolan again, as he has done all night, coming up big, but the shot was right high on the stick side, and Dolan had a clear view of that shot coming in. And now Garden City in the man down. They were doubling before. You certainly know they're going to double all over the field.
Basile got it to Scatterigia. He is also in that same group of 3 county titles about to be won in 1 year. Scatterigia, the feed, the finish from Pappas for the 2nd time.
Now another man down goal for Garden City, with Pappas getting his 2nd goal and Scatterigia getting the assist. That has got to be demoralizing. There you see it wide open in front of the cage. And of course that is a result of the fact that Manhasset is looking to double the ball all over the field, and that just leaves Pappas one-on-one with Petraka down low, and Pappas won't miss that one. And that will be very demoralizing for Manhasset when you're extra man and giving down this extra, giving up another goal.
Scatterigia will get the dish. His 7th assist. Earlier we saw a fascinating 50-second stalemate on a faceoff. We've never seen that before, Gary. And it essentially closed out the first half.
And this man may close out the game the way these two guys have been going at the faceoff X.
It started at the 4:03 mark. This one not as long. And nevertheless, though, Garden City will come up with a ground ball. Danny Bacafola. And we'll play it back to Hart. Right back over the top it came. Timeout, Garden City. They are just 3:19 away from playing for a Long Island championship. And a thought about moving back upstate. Last year they lost in the B semifinals in overtime to Yorktown. 2 years ago, lost to Shawinigan River in a great game in the Long Island B championship. So it's been a while. You have to go back to that 2013 team that went 19-3, that captured the program's state championship, the most recent one in 13, all under Steve Fennell, a very proud alum. As he says, it's aside from my family and friends, Garden City lacrosse means so much to him. He's only the 4th head coach in the 80-plus year history. This will be his 10th county championship. He's also the football defensive coordinator under Dave Ettinger. Ettinger is a football assistant to him, so they spend a lot of time with the same characters and personalities working towards a common goal together.
Well, I think Coach Fennell has got to be complimented for the job he's done tonight in preparing Garden City for this game. And you see him here. He's going back and forth. He goes to the offensive huddle, then he goes to the defensive huddle, puts his 2 cents worth in, or maybe it's maybe a dime. But then he goes back to the offensive huddle. He was the offensive guy when he played, so he knows the offense very well. But he wants to make sure that his players know what to do under what condition, and he has done a remarkable job tonight in the preparation for Garden City in this game against Manhasset. And we said earlier, beating Garden City twice in one season is asking a lot of any team.
And he's got some great teachers. The man that brought him into the program, Doc Doherty, did a phenomenal job in 30-plus years. And Steve knew he had tremendous shoes to fill, but credits Doc that he learned so much from him. And then Tom Flatley, who was the longtime Garden City football coach and his JV lacrosse coach. And Tom Flatley is still around the program on a daily basis in an unofficial coaching capacity. To the front, Liam Muldoon. He'll add an empty net goal as the Trojans inch closer.
Well, Muldoon had the open netter. Again, Manhasset pulling Petraka out of the cage, looking to try and double the ball, allowing them to double the ball wherever, and you see Petraka getting beat there. And now it's just an easy opportunity for Muldoon and Garden City as they open up now a 9-goal differential.
Liam Muldoon now with 2-1 as Stephen L. celebrates it. Another person, Mike Pressler, who was his coach at Duke, who's now at Bryant. Some of his mentors, and then the assistant coaches you can't forget about. The aforementioned Dave Ettinger, Tim Holman, Garden City class of 2007 that we had a chance to say hello to, who played right here at Hofstra. Was a really self-made player, had to learn the pole position under Seth Tierney and Hofstra, and coming over as a D-midi. The people that work behind the scenes to grow this Garden City team that graduated so much. We should also point out that, of course, J.P. Basile, as that face-off number continues to swell, but J.P. Basile was hurt this season at Duke and was a 4-year starter. They had to fill his shoes. Plenty other great ones. Again, Manhasset doubling the ball, and there's Will Puccio. They find him outside the crease to put the lead now to 10.
Well, Manhasset's gambling, and that's what they have to do. They have to gamble, try and see if they can cause turnovers and come up with the ball with just over 2 minutes to go. There you see them looking to gamble on Liam. Liam looking up top, finding Puccio, cutting down. And Puccio putting it in the back of the net. And the celebration has begun on the side of Garden City.
Eight different goal scorers now for Garden City. And for the first time, it's not Coppola facing off, it's Christian Sullivan, as Silos wins that one easily. And on paper carry, the other significant names that Garden City had to replace: All-American 3-year starting midfielder Jamie Atkinson that did so much, Finn Gibbons, now at Brown. Sean Coughlin put together a great senior year. He's now at High Point. And the defense with Puccio. Remember Luke Keating's great senior year coming out of nowhere. There's the save in tight by Dolan. And yet the Trojans were able to hum along, recovering from a 1-2 start and taking losses, a lopsided loss against Smithtown West, who lost in the Suffolk A semifinals. And then Calvert Hall, but Calvert Hall is ranked number 3 in the country, and they won Maryland's MIAA. That's the private school league down there that has all sorts of high Division I talent.
Well, they play a very tough schedule, and that is all in preparation for tonight, when they go into the county finals and then on to the Long Island, and hopefully for Garden City into the States. That's when it pays off, Ralph, when you have gone up against the competition, the likes of what Garden City has played.
We get a knockdown at midfield, and here is Arnold. He had the goal, and for the Indians, carrying a quick note, where do they go from here? It's a disappointing loss after defeating Garden City in Garden City during the regular season. They'll still have players like Arnold back. A lot of their offensive players are non-seniors. Where do the Indians go from here?
Well, they have to regroup. This is a little bit of a shocker to them after coming away, as you said, in the Woodstock Classic with the W. But they've got a tremendous nucleus. They've got Silos back, who's only a sophomore. Glenn is only a junior. Mulholland, a freshman. They have, Perfetto's only a junior. So they have a tremendous nucleus coming back next year, and I think that you're going to see Manhasset back in this game.
And the question being, what has to happen over the next calendar year to, if not win, but be right there to compete? There's Lapina, fine save by Dolan. The last 2 years, last year was the 8-6 final. 2 years ago, Manhasset blew a 5-1 fourth quarter lead to lose it 7-5. So in this series against the two, they've been mostly close games. Tonight has been a significant anomaly.
It absolutely has.
And not just an anomaly, but an impressive showing en route to a third consecutive county title. The Trojans upend their rivals. They're off to the Long Island Championship game after a 15-5 finish.
Class B champions. Congratulations also to Coach Keith Cromwell and his Manhasset Indians on an outstanding 2018 season and this appearance in the Nassau.
What a great job Mark Silas tried to do this game, but give credit to Justin Coppola. He rose to the occasion. I think the defense, you can't say enough about the defense of Garden City, and the attack was right on. Their shooters were right on, and it was an excellent effort by Manhasset, but they just were not able to crack the defense tonight of Garden City.
We're coming back with a post-game reaction from the field and the wrap-up. Back at Stewart Stadium in a moment on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. Garden City celebrates a satisfying 15-5 victory over rival Manhasset to capture their third consecutive county crown. Steve Fidel fired up. That's because his face-off man, Justin Coppola, shined tonight. He is on the field with Carrie Gluck.
Justin, in the first game earlier this year in the Woodstick Classic, Silas wins 11 out of 15. Today, a much different story. What was your strategy coming into this game?
Just standing in there and not rotating too quickly. First game, I picked up my left hand and lost balance. But I got to give it all to James Sullivan. He came down from Harvard after a season and helped me out so much. That's why I gave it all the credit. That's why I won.
What do you think was the difference in this game for Garden City as opposed to the Woodstick when you lost 7-5?
All the JV kids came up, resembled all the offensive players for the defense, and they just did a great job. I feel like we had the best scout team in the whole entire country. We did such a good job preparing, watching so much film. We got to give it all to the scout team this year.
And what about the defense? They did a tremendous job holding a Manhasset team to only 5 goals.
Yeah, again, with all the preparation we had, Colin Hart and Danny Bogfola did a great job on the wings to help me get possession too. But we just did overall a great job. We stayed composed and played a really good zone too. And we got to give it all out to them. Only 5 goals against Manhasset is pretty good.
And talking a little bit about the face-off X, the stalemate. There was one occasion where it was 50 seconds where you and Silos were just going at it. What was the strategy there?
Just staying there. Like I said before, not rotating too quickly. Then he just gets more of the ball when I do that. I just stood there, took some time on the clock. I know we were man down, so when I held there, we got even there, and then we ended up getting the ball in possession. That was just great for us.
How did it feel? Describe the feeling when you scored that goal coming off the face-off with cleanly.
I felt like that was a whole momentum change there. I felt like after that we won the game.
Well, you did win the game, absolutely. Congratulations to you and the Trojans, and good luck in the LIC.
Thank you for having me.
Ralph, back to you.
It was certainly a demoralizing goal. We could all feel it here, as after Justin Coppola scored at that juncture to make it 9-3, the Trojans will go on to have 8 different goal scorers tonight. 3 goals and an assist apiece from Trevor Boacody and Kyle Steinbach among the leaders, and in the all-time playoff series between these two rivals, it is the longest margin of victory that's ever occurred. A 10-goal spread captured by the Trojans. So they make some more history and add some more hardware tonight at Hofstra. That does it for our entire crew. This game was produced and directed by Frank Lasquadro. For my partner, Carrie Gluck, I'm Ralph Bednarczyk, thanking you for watching the Nassau County Playoffs on Verizon Fios 1 Sports.
This has been a special presentation of Verizon Fios 1 Sports.